So I had Socratic Seminar as my after reading strategy. So what is it? It's used as an after reading strategy that helps create a classroom discussion about a certain text. The goal of it is to seek deeper understanding of complex ideas in the text throughout dialogue. And I'll kind of talk about how it's set up and everything in a little bit. So the Socratic Seminar has 5 different steps. The first step is for the teacher to choose a certain text, and in the process of choosing the text, you want to be able to choose a small enough text to have great dialogue for the students, and have the students also feel comfortable to use the text as evidence to support their dialogue. So with this reading strategy, we want to be able to make sure that the students are knowledgeable and comfortable about the text. The goal of it is to have a meaningful discussion in the classroom without having an overwhelming amount of text. The second step is to let the students prepare. So we should give the students at least 24 hours to prepare for the classroom discussion. As teachers, we should help encourage students to annotate the text to have discussion topics available. We should also encourage students to maybe even use sticky notes to help remember topics to discuss. We should also remind students the more evidence they have, the more in-depth their discussion will and can be. The third step is to give students some questions. In this Socratic Seminar, I give students a handout with questions at least a day or more in advance. This allows them to look at the questions, read the text, and think about how they want to reply. This will give them a better understanding of the content of the text and can help them create more in-depth answers to each question. So we really want to focus on the questions during the discussion. We'll give students 4 to 6 questions to look at and reply to, and then focus on more philosophical questions for the last couple. And then if it's hard to start the discussion in the classroom, which it most likely will be, to start it, have the students begin by sharing their answers to the questions that they received. The fourth step is to set up the inner and outer circles. So we will divide the class in half between 2 groups. We'll start with an inner and an outer circle. So we'll have one of the 2 groups sit in a circle, and then the second group sit outside the circle. And the inner circle is going to be the students that are discussing the questions and having the classroom discussion, while the outer circle will record what the students on the inside of the circle are saying and kind of have notes about their takes of the text and what they've said. So each group will do both the inner and outer circle, so after a certain amount of time, which will be based off what the teacher thinks and how long they should be discussing the text, both circles will switch at some point. And step 5 is to don't jump in. So teachers are really there just to facilitate the classroom and get everything set up. You could introduce new questions when the discussion is lagging, when it's kind of quiet and there really isn't much to talk about. A teacher can ask a few more questions about the text to kind of keep the conversation going. And teachers are also there to kind of let students know when to wrap up their discussion. And teachers really should never add their own thoughts, because they're just there to simply facilitate the reading activity and make sure the conversation is still going. So for my Socratic Seminar, my article was on 10 reasons why math is important to life, and I have the link to that article up on here. So I have created 5 questions from the text that I think would show a great understanding from the students if they answered all 5 of these questions. So this can help start a classroom discussion and kind of show how they perceive the text in a way. So what I would do is I would have the classroom, say I had 20 students in the classroom, I split them up 10 and 10, and the first 10 will be in a circle, and we can start off by having everybody answer question 1, and then you want to make sure they have a discussion. So if one student answers the question, other students can agree with it, they can maybe disagree with their statement and have a conversation of why they think that, and just so on for each question. And then the outer circle will have time to reflect and take notes on what the inner circle said. And then we will, after maybe 15-20 minutes, we will then switch it so the outer circle students are in the inner circle, and the inner circle students are in the outside circle. So this is kind of how a Socratic seminar is set up. And then just some key points is that students should really be driving the discussion. Teachers really shouldn't be putting their input on it, but teachers can ask more questions to kind of help the conversation going. So that's what a Socratic seminar is.